The first thing you notice when you play World Rally Championship for the PSP is that it was developed by Traveller's Tales. 2005 was the year they released their first LEGO game, LEGO Star Wars, which was in development since 2003 by LEGO Interactive. LEGO Star Wars ended up being finished by Giant Interactive, which was formed by ex-LEGO Interactive management team, which then was bought by Traveller's Tales. Little bit convoluted, but moving on. The great success of that game prompted them to exclusively develop LEGO titles from that point onward, with a few licensed titles in between. Sony owned World Rally Championship rights exclusivity for the 6th generation consoles, and after seeing Evolution Studios' demo for a PC rally game, they handed them the task to make yearly titles for the PlayStation 2. In 2005, they released their magnum opus rally title, World Rally Championship Rally Evolved. Unlike their direct competition, Colin McRae Rally, they couldn't port that title for the PlayStation Portable. So instead they decided to make an all-exclusive title. Sony had already tasked Traveller's Tales to make another PSP exclusive, F1 Grand Prix. Fun fact about Formula 1 2005 for the PS2. When I played Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012, I was surprised. I had a Muse song in the intro, Hurricanes and Butterflies. This song was used too, but years before for this PS2 title. If I had a you get it. This case is even weirder, since Sony Computer Entertainment Europe, official developers for PS2 Formula 1 games, did ended up releasing a PSP game a year later, unlike Evolution Studios, which never did. Whatever it was, Traveller's Tales developed two racing games to be released on 2005 with 1 month of difference between each other, alongside LEGO Star Wars and an Narnia title. We're gonna have a brief look at both and see what developing 4 titles, 2 of them racing ones to be released on the same year looks like. Even EA didn't went that far with Black Box. I completed the Novice Championship mode in both these games. The biggest thing that you can commit in this genre is a lack of customization. Can't enable or disable any assist, no option to change the type of transmission or the information displayed in the HUD, no steering sensitivity, and the list goes on. The games are played just as is, and if you don't like it, tough luck. You can tune it to your liking. The AI is incredibly poor. If this game had a penalty system that applied to them, everyone will be disqualified before the first lap is even finished. The problem I think is that they only program them to drive to the finish line and nothing else, so they can't react to anything outside of that. Here's one example. The AI ran me on the side and it continued accelerating as if nothing had happened, making us both derail. As far as they are concerned, you don't exist. You are a 4th dimension entity. And then they come back to the predisposed path they knew. And speaking of driving behavior, a big problem developers encountered on the PSP is the lack of buttons and lack of precision on the joystick. How do you make a satisfying driving experience with that? It's not like, okay, we are going to map the movement of the wheels to the left D-pad, like we do with Steam input. This control tuning process is incredibly complex, and if not done well, it can ruin the experience of the game. As you may know, Forza and Gran Turismo games are perfectly tuned to be played on a controller. Forza in particular is great about this. No other game has that level of driving satisfaction. Traveller's Tales managed to pull this feat twice for completely opposite racing subgenres. That's right, this game played like a dream, even with no pressure-sensitive gas and brakes, or if you decide to use the D-pad instead of the joystick, the vehicles respond so well to your inputs. Remember, this is a Formula 1 game, precision is king, and later it will too with Rally. The graphics are not great, and the PSP hardware isn't an excuse, but they are serviceable. No complaints in that regard, except that it feels incredibly liminal. No matter the time of the day, it's never completely sunny. There never is enough lighting, and I'm not saying this because you can see, but because it contributes to this aesthetic. like if it's just a burning memory with a racing game. And I don't know what they did or messed up when making WRC, but this atmosphere and feeling is more intense in that one, but I will get to that. There's no doubt that more resources went to this title because the Formula 1 IP had a bigger audience and scope. If you ask a random person between Michael Schumacher and Sebastian Loeb, more people will know who Schumacher is along with other things. Overall, it's a decent game, but not the best racing game and neither the best F1 title the handheld had to offer. Just a little tangent. The game has a TV mode, which is just the AI running in a circuit with a cinematic camera to simulate a real race. I find it interesting. Between F1 and Rally, I always choose the latter. F1 cars require great skill to handle and are incredibly twitchy. And that is great, but like drifting, I find it more satisfying when I pull off a curve in a Toyota Supra. Both these types of games require great precision, but in different ways. Now, unlike Formula 1 Grand Prix, World Rally Championship had even fewer big names attached to it, the more recognizable being Loeb. I don't know what engine was F1 Grand Prix developed, but both games look the same. The game improves in other regards though, more realistic AI and physics, and a car selection screen where the car you have selected is being driven on a circuit and it changes to a different one in real time. It's not obligatory, but most rally games by this time featured a rallycross game mode, and I guess it was out of the table because of the AI. Yes, they improved it, but this is a completely different environment. Though you can still see your opponent's goals. It's a nice touch to have a visual representation of where they are instead of the time difference you have with them. Here is where you notice improvements. If you make a mistake, you will see the AI ghost making that same mistake. Here are some examples. Almost like they are real people, how the cars deform according to the damage received and how different types of terrain change the handling are superior to F1 Grand Prix, and now there are more indestructible and destructible objects in the environment. I know it's impossible to compare the physics between the two, but with what I said plus a improved driving experience makes this game more enjoyable, and not only that, but it's more accessible too. I mean, WRC as a sport is more accessible in that you don't have to stay at the podium. You win by making the best times, and even if you fail in a segment you can still make a comeback in the rest of them. But it's not just that. This new tuning to the driving physics allow you to be a better driver, and the AI is not as hard. This title is like Ridge Racer, where you drive like a god. And in part is because you are good, but also because the developers managed to pull off this very delicate balancing handling. It's like Sega Rally but more realistic. I had previously said in the video about learning to drive without assist that I'm not a very good driver. If you are like me and still want to experience a rally game, this is the one. Yeah, Colin Moriah 2005 Plus is a superior title in all aspects. What that means is more difficult and unforgiving, and that's great. But sometimes you like something more laid back. This title stands alongside Colin Moriah 2005 Plus because both are great at what they propose to do, and each chose a different way to do it. Looking through older circuits, I couldn't find a single sunny one, and there are, supposedly. Look at the ambience all these maps give. Travel styles did some changes, but one in particular is the most influential in this gloomy, eerie vibe. They obscure the background textures independently of the weather and time of day. This disconnection feels uneasy, like a perpetual limbo. The roads and our vehicle never get lighted by the sun even if there is to be one present. In conclusion, both games are serviceable, and you can have even more content through DLCs. One is better than the other though. If you are a F1 fan with a PSP or Sail 7Cs, F1 Grand Prix is not worth your time. If you are a rally fan, give World Rally Championship a shot. It's a pleasant and more relaxed experience, though neither is going to get any recognition beyond that because they don't deserve it.